In honor of the dog days of summer, we're not going to talk about the things we usually talk about this week. Like one, the stock market, which as we discussed, when the Federal Reserve got more aggressive, the stock market found a bottom, definitely found a footing, and maybe sees the light at the end of the tunnel with the Federal Reserve's rate hikes. We're not going to talk about the economy, where the odds of a deep recession happening keep going down every day as everybody's all of a sudden an expert on what a recession is. And we all know the herd does not win. We're not going to talk about the housing market, where for the first time in 3 years, as we discussed, there's more inventory in the market and where prices are definitely adjusting to consumer affordability with the new mortgage rate environment. We're not even going to talk about mortgages, where the 10-year Treasury note likes where it is under 3%, with that hard edge coming off of interest rates like we've discussed in the last few weeks. We're actually going to talk about the number one problem on our planet that nobody wants to talk about, that money and time cannot fix. Money and time can fix all of those things that I'm not going to talk about this week, because as we know, time heals some wounds and money can help the rest. This is actually something where money can't help it and time is not on our side, and I'm no tree hugger. Welcome back to This Week in Mortgage, everybody. My name is Sam Battaglia, your mortgage broker here at Guaranteed Rate in Beverly Hills, right on Cannon. I hope you're having a great week. I'm going to talk about the environment today, and I'm pretty troubled by it, to be honest with you, because when we use the word environment in economics, it's usually a backdrop theme for the environment being healthy. But now I'm actually going to talk about the actual dirt, soil, water, trees, flowers, and bees environment, where if that doesn't work, we have no economy. I saw a survey earlier this week where not even on the top 10 or 15 things about what Americans are concerned about is the actual environment. That's a very troubling thing. The earth is heating up at a pace right now where it's, number one, heating up quicker than it used to. And of course, the earth, just like everything else, has hot cycles and cold cycles. But what's happening now is because we are abusing the planet, it's actually heating up quicker than it usually does. And it doesn't seem like it's going to let go. And we seem to be approaching the point of no return, where floods and fires are going to ruin everything in the world, including all economies. So I'm going to talk about some of the negative things that are going to happen if we continue abusing the planet. The stock market. If nobody can go outside because it's 130 degrees, stocks on the stock market will not have earnings, and stocks on the stock market will not have value. That means everyone's stock portfolios are worthless, everyone's retirement portfolios are worthless, because if people can't go outside because it's 130 degrees, no one can buy anything and no one has a reason to buy anything. The economy, just like stocks. There's not going to be anything to do if it's 130 degrees outside. There's no reason to go outside. We all know if none of us go outside, the economy stops. I don't need to tell you this. We've all dealt with what we dealt with in 2020 and 21 when we didn't go outside by choice. The planet's reaching a point where we can't go outside because of survival. We know this for a fact. The economy will stop, and that one was by choice. Housing. Here's the one. Banks won't lend and insurance companies won't insure if your house or home is sitting in somewhere that is an extreme hazard, fire hazard, flood hazard, any natural disaster hazard. Banks won't lend, insurance companies won't insure. The housing prices will become, once again, worthless. Zero value for a home if you can't get money on it and if you can't insure it. If the economy stops because of the environment, housing will become worthless. Mortgages will once again become illiquid. If banks can't lend, If banks can't find anybody to sell the paper to, and they don't want to lend because all of a sudden everything is in a flood or fire zone because we've screwed up the environment so bad, banks then become insolvent, just like they were in 2008 and 9. If they can't move the paper off their books, the buck has to stop. That will make mortgages worthless. Everything that we do, from food, we won't be able to grow it if it's 130 degrees outside. Water will then become more polluted than it actually is, and we can't use it to drink or to clean things. If you can't go outside, there's also a few other things you can't do. You can't travel, you can't play sports, you can't do anything because it's 130 degrees outside. Now, let's use an example from this week here, as here in the United States and over in Europe, we are having record heat conditions speeding up more so than ever. I don't know if you saw what happened in London this week. London is a very, very old city. Some houses in London are probably older than the existence of our country from 1776. Those houses don't have air conditioning. About 5% of the houses in the UK have air conditioning because when they were built, global warming was not an issue. Now it is the issue. Those houses are sitting there on fire right now in London, just on neighborhood streets, just around the corner from every landmark you've ever seen there. It's a very scary thing. And if you like to travel, Heathrow Airport this week in London, the tarmac was melting because the heat got so hot. So again, if our planet keeps heating up, money, everything, economy, Federal Reserve, banks, housing market, none of it matters because you can't go outside. Now, something else. Why is it that the richest people in the world get so excited when they get in their rocket and they head up to Mars and they find a puddle of water on Mars? Do they know that our planet is past the point of no return and that's why they're the smartest, richest people in the world and they're building rockets to get themselves off this planet? What I know is if we're so excited to find a puddle of water on Mars, why are we taking for granted 2/3 of the planet, which is water here, that we keep contaminating and screwing up? This literally makes zero sense to me because people's means to go live on Mars because we found a puddle of water, which is honestly embarrassing at this point, will not be there just for a few people. So it looks like this environmental can has been kicked down the road forever. It looks like the people in charge now, one of a few things. Either they don't understand, they don't care, or they do understand and they don't care, all for the reason of a self-serving purpose. I don't know who they plan on helping because their interests, let's say you have a heavy interest in the oil and coal industry, there's going to be no need for oil and coal and your value of whatever you have is going to go down because no one can go outside because it's 130 degrees. So it's probably time for the people in charge to finally admit that their generation blew it. My generation, a little younger than the people in charge, somewhat have a chance to make this right. But I think it's on the people that are about in their 20s right now. They're going to have to fix this planet and this problem we have. Hopefully, by the time they get to being in charge, if you're 25 years old now, odds are that person will be the president of the United States in 25 years when they're around 45 or 50 years old in the future. Maybe younger, hopefully. But it looks like it's on the 20-year-olds now to fix the problem that the generation before me, my generation, can't fix. And if you're the younger generation, please do something about our planet, because everyone listening to this likes their home, likes using water, likes going outside, likes going on vacation. So please, everybody, when it comes to recycling, just do it. When it comes to maybe making wiser consumer choices to help I keep saying economy, but it's the environment, because without the environment, there is no economy. When it comes to smarter consumer choices to save the environment, please do it. This is not a public service announcement. Every week I talk about, let's be honest, superficial things. Money, Wall Street, housing, all the stuff that we like because we're human beings and we're smart people and we want nice things. At the end of the day, everything I talk about, everything everybody talks about on TV, political squabbles, geopolitical squabbles, none of it matters if it's 130 degrees outside. Okay, everybody, that is my show for this week. A little bit different this week. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, any questions about your mortgage, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Have a great rest of the week. Headed into the weekend. Thank you again for watching.